Why are you laughing already?
Because I'm like, don't mess it up. On episode 100, make sure all the cameras and the sound are rolling.
Well, it is episode 100, and Renae had to do a balloon arch, and she had to put a little 100.
Oh, I just want to have fun. You don't like to celebrate your birthday, and you say no surprises, but 100 episodes is like a legit milestone. So it's like, I'm going to celebrate it. I'm excited. We made it to 100.
We did. And it's also one of those things too where I'm like, golly, 100 hours. 100 hours of us talking shit.
Well, I didn't even think about it like that.
Isn't that crazy?
I just got real emotional thinking about the shit show that this really started as, and the shit show it still is.
It still is.
Some episodes.
You got a little lipstick on the tooth. Yep, on the tooth.
I knew that was gonna happen. Look, I got red lips all over my lipstick. But I even wore.
Did you just really
lipstick.
do that?
I guess I did.
Because I got somewhere for you to help with that.
It's not your birthday. It's 100 episodes.
It is 100 episodes. I don't even know why that's. I mean, it is cool. Don't get me wrong. It is cool. Yes.
Okay.
And the funny part is too is I never, I had a podcast early on. I didn't like it. We called it The Process.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I didn't enjoy it, and it just wasn't
good. It was just so serious.
It was very serious. It was about the process of stand-up comedy
Yeah.
and me talking to young comics and having those discussions. But even then, I was like, man, and then during, of course, the pandemic is when me and you decided, okay, we got to do something.
Yeah.
And we would go live on Facebook and call it Pardon the Bitching.
Or you needed some sort of creative outlet and a way to continue to reach your audience. And it was a mess.
It was a mess.
Fun. It was still
fun.
a lot of fun. And that's why we kept doing it.
And we're so lucky to have Rick and later on Gigi got on board. And we're just so lucky to have them and the support. And I think, Well, I just think that, Rick, we could not have done this without you and Gigi.
For sure.
There's a lot of people like Aztec Chevrolet that really kept us moving forward. And now pick Cherries and Old Salt Coffee. And, our original sponsor was Miss Dora.
And her eyelashes.
And we gave her shout outs all the time. I never got one commission. Not one commission from Miss Dora.
I don't think she sells the magnetic eyelashes anymore. She sells something else.
Yeah, she's always selling some shit. But it's been a great journey, and it's been a lot of fun, and we love that people get on board now, and then they go back and start at the beginning, which is
I
really
recently
cool.
a couple of weeks ago got a message from someone, and they were like, I just found you guys. They just found you probably on TikTok or something. And they said, so I started watching the podcast. They were like, and you're pregnant. And I thought that's so neat. Yeah.
Well, and and not to sound morbid, but man, nothing would have made me happier than, to be able to, as a grown man, go back and watch my parents talk. Right. And I think about as, inevitability when we pass away, that our son and daughter will be able to go back and watch me and you have real conversations.
Yeah.
My dad, my mom.
You think they'll be like, YouTube, Facebook? What's that?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have that in
how
our...
do we watch it? On Facebook?
So I just think it's really cool that it's been a 100 weeks chronicling our past 100 weeks.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny you said that, because Garrett, I put Garrett to work helping me with the balloons. And he had all these questions. He was like, well, Mom, 100 episodes. How many seasons? And I was like, well, we're in season 3. Okay, so then how many episodes are in a season? Like, he really wanted to know all the math of it.
He was all about it. And it's just been, I will say that I think it's been very therapeutic for us.
Oh, for sure. I was thinking about that. I was like, if we didn't have the podcast, I can't believe we made it to 100 episodes. Honestly, I didn't think we would.
And we only had to bail on one.
I didn't think 1 or 2. I can't remember. 1
or 2 where Rick was like, hey guys, you guys went after it.
You know what? I think there was one Rick was the one who was like, we're bailing on it. And then there was one that I didn't feel good about it. And I said, nope, can we retape it? I just don't feel good about
Things got
that.
heated. Things got aggressive. Things got crazy.
Yeah.
And we just were like, man, we can't air that. I wanted.
Podcasts are job security.
Yeah. But I wanted to air it because I think I'm not afraid to put myself out there, and I'm not afraid to be honest. And I think that that's what makes this podcast attractive, is that we do tend to get a little heated, and we do tend to have real discussions and real arguments and real frustrations. And I think that that's what makes it special in a world that everybody thinks everybody else's life is perfect because of Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Yeah. Everything's through a filter.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody ever shows the struggles. Nobody ever shows the hard times. You know, it's always, here's my family on a beach. Okay, well, that's 1 week of your life.
Yeah.
You know, so I like that we open up. I like that we
go there.
I do.
Like little squirrels.
Like little, no, what is that? Raccoons.
Possums, raccoons.
Little raccooey. So I've loved this podcast, and I've loved doing it with you. And you know, I love that people see the love that we have for each other, and our willingness to disagree, but agree to disagree. And sometimes,
to me, that's so important.
And sometimes find common ground.
And sometimes we don't.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't at all.
Yeah.
You've learned to be nicer to me through the podcast, I would say.
Oh, well, that was why that one episode I was like, I felt like we were nasty and ugly to each other. And I don't ever want to be that. I mean, obviously we were, but you know.
Well, we were, and we can be, and we you know, it's funny because I talk about this all the time, and I've probably talked about it on one of the 100 episodes we've done. There's something really special about high school sweethearts. You know, because I know what we went through as a couple,
right?
And we were already out of.
I was going to say we weren't high school sweethearts,
but I'm saying people that are high school sweethearts,
amazing.
All of the growth that they have gone through together. Right? There's no fucking way that I could be with my high school sweetheart. All the dumb shit I did, and all the partying and the bad attitude I had, and my outlook on life when I was in my teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
You know,
you were 26 when we started dating.
26 or 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 27, 28. I forget. But I was older, and I had already made a lot of mistakes, and I already got a lot of my partying out, and a lot of, you know, acting like a fucking child. I got a lot of that out, and I don't think that you would have stuck around through those years.
Probably not.
You know, and when I think about a couple that, oh my God, high school sweethearts.
Yeah. Like
you guys got together 16, 17, 18. And now you're in your 40s? Wow. Your parents.
Yeah, my parents are high school sweethearts.
High school sweethearts. I can't imagine the growth that they've gone through together.
But it seems, and I don't know if it's just because they were my parents, but I feel like they have classmates that were high school sweethearts too. My folks did. And now, in this day and age, it seems like it's such a crazy thing.
I think you'd be surprised.
Like I was shocked when we met Dave and found out that Dave and his wife,
the opening act, Dave
He showed me their prom picture, and I was like, "Holy cow, that's crazy!"
Well, but I think you'd be surprised. I mean, there's so many couples that come up to me after the shows and say, "We were high school sweethearts.
Yeah,
we've been together since high school," and I just admire that because that shows a lot of strength and a lot of growth from both of them.
Yeah,
to be able to, and that's love, right?
To fully accept someone.
That's what love is, right? I always, you know, love is one of those things that you do not choose, right? You can't, and that's why I always laugh when parents go, "I don't want my daughter with him," or "I don't want my son with her," and it's like it's not up to you.
Yeah.
Right? You can't make them love somebody or not love somebody. Love is something that you don't choose; it just happens, and it's a feeling and a real thing. And when you are in love, you tolerate much more than you would if you weren't in love.
Yeah, because you and I talk about that too. What happens if our kid falls in love with someone that we don't like?
You got to support. You got to be supportive, and you got to hopefully encourage in ways.
What would you say if Garrett came up to you at like 20 and said, I'm like, he wants to marry his high school sweetheart?
I would support him, and I would say, hey man, love is hard, and if this is something you want to do and you believe that you can do it, then it can be done.
Yeah.
Because I think that it can be done. I've seen it be done. And the other thing too is like, hey man, you I still want to be in my son's life.
Yeah.
And
I think I might have the same response my parents had to you. Well, not yet, right? Not yet.
And not to talk poorly of your parents, but I love your parents and we get along fabulously. But in the beginning, it was hard.
Yeah.
They did not like me. They did not want me with you. And they made it very, very clear to me that I was not liked and that I was not their pick for you.
Yeah.
But
I think that's got to be hard too about high school sweethearts is the parents seeing all those same mistakes,
all the drama and all the bullshit they went through. And, but I remember we went to go visit, my aunt had gotten a divorce, my dad's sister, and we went to go visit her ex-husband, and I didn't know what to think of it. And I thought, Dad, this man divorced your sister.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and Dad said, well, he said, that's between them. He goes, relationships are very, very complicated. Love is very complicated. He's never done anything to me.
Yeah.
He never physically hurt my sister. And, we're still friends. And he's still your uncle.
Yeah.
He is the father of your cousins, and he is still your uncle. So Dad taught me that very valuable lesson about, love being very complicated. And whatever happens at home, is between them.
Yeah.
And you can't make somebody not love somebody. You can't make somebody not be with that person, right? So, I mean, it is complicated. And thank goodness for me, because I stayed patient with your parents. And I told myself, I will prove to them that I am the man that deserves your daughter.
Yeah.
And I remember on our wedding day, I sat down with your dad on our wedding day, and I said, I will love your daughter like nobody in this world can. And I told him, nobody tries harder than me. Nobody works harder than me.
Are your eyes getting watery too?
No. But I told him that because I wanted him to know that there is nobody in this world that is going to work as hard as me to make your daughter happy. Yeah. And he looked at me and he goes, I know that about you. Because I had earned it, Yeah. But in learning...
It's true to this day.
And learning from your parents, now that I'm parents, I could have taken it the wrong way. I could have said, hey, Renae, F your parents. They don't like me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make efforts. I'm not going to try. F them. And then it would have made our family and our relationship much more difficult.
Yeah, you were always smart enough to know, even from the beginning of our relationship, that like family was forever. And I remember you and I specifically having conversations about when it came to stuff with my family or your family, is this argument worth it? Is this fight worth it when family is forever?
But we've also, this is a good, I can't believe, I don't know how we ended up here, but this is a good thing too. And it's the line from Coal Miner's Daughter, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, where Doolittle Lynn looks at Loretta and goes,
oh, I know which one you're going to say because you quote it all the time.
All the time. And he goes, you got to make a decision. Are you your father's daughter or are you my wife?
And that's a hard one because I am my daddy's girl.
But this is first.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard transition in life to realize, hey, Mom, Dad, I love you, but I'm no longer under your roof. I'm no longer the daughter that needs to make decisions for that family.
Yeah.
I am the mother and wife of this family, and we got to make decisions for this family.
But I also think that a daughter always feels that. And I don't know if guilt is the right word, but I think that's why, like, in the end, it's the daughter that ends up taking care of the parents.
Well, and I always make the joke where I say, well, my in-laws are here all the time. Mm-hmm. Right? I always make that joke, right? And when you realize that yes, because my dad raised a man to be on his own 2 feet and to handle himself, right? And your dad and your mom take care of you as a lady, as a girl, My dad takes care of my sisters, right? Kenny would say the same thing. My brother-in-law would say, oh my God, Victoria's parents are over all the time.
And that's why you feel an obligation to take care of them.
Right. And Victoria's going to end up probably taking care of my parents down in Portland. I mean, with my help, of course, but, and we'll probably end up taking care of your parents. But, the point is that you can either choose to go F that and they don't like me, so that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Or you can go, no, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to show them that I deserve to be here and earn their respect. And I did over time. And now we have a wonderful relationship.
Yeah. You know what? As you said that, I just thought, not that I'm giving you notes on your set, but you're doing a joke right now that hasn't been seen in a special about us meeting and what happened and my dad. And so now I feel like you need to add another story where you and my dad are friends.
Well, I mean, that's basically the bite the leg story.
Yeah.
Right. Like
the gummy bear.
Yeah. Now we get in trouble together now, and we have a lot of fun together. But and that's a good question for Rick and Gigi, because Rick, your in-laws live next door. Was there any time in y'all's relationship that maybe Gigi's parents didn't like you, Rick?
But her dad is old school.
So I missed something. I think
we missed the first part of your response.
Yeah, they're never, ever, from day one, they've been extremely welcoming.
But when you say he's old school, what does that mean?
I'm not like a manual labor guy anymore. Like, I sit behind a desk and,
edit our podcast?
Roll cameras. So, like, he's on the roof and he wants me to go, like, roofing and stuff.
And you're like, yeah, that's not happening.
Exactly.
But they live next door to you guys. Do you think there's more pros or cons to that? Or what are the pros?
A million times more pros.
Yeah, they help out a lot?
Oh, yeah. And it's just nice that, like, every holiday or whatever, you just go over and you get to see them. And, I mean, they're just such good people, too, which helps.
So there was never you didn't have to deal with the things that I had to deal with. I mean, I'm not kidding you, dude.
Although I don't know that Rick's early 20s were as sordid as yours were, and that's got a big part to do with it.
Oh no, that's not a lie. I have grown as a man leaps and bounds. I mean, I was on a very, very bad path, before you.
Yeah.
You changed my life. You really did change my life. But the point I was trying to make is that, Rick, when I tell you we had been living together for almost 6 years, I walk over to Raymond, I pull out the ring, I say, Raymond, I'm asking your daughter's hand in marriage. He did not say, oh my God, I've been waiting. Welcome to the family. Give me a hug.
You caught me by surprise.
Finally, like, he didn't say any of that. He looked at me and goes, well, you're a hard worker. Maybe we should go tell Mary. So Mary was inside. I walk inside. I go, Mary, and then Raymond goes, Steve has something to tell you. And he starts warming something up in the microwave. Like, he's not even excited. He's not even like, hey, as things are falling down. Right? I go to Mary. I say, Mary, I said, I plan on asking your daughter to marry me. And her response was, well, not right away. Living together for 6 years. And she goes, like maybe there's some time for Renae to figure this shit out. Right. But again, me knowing.
No, I think they were just, and not that I'm defending their response, but I think they were just concerned. We were like living in LA, both chasing a dream in a very tiny apartment with no health insurance and nothing, like nothing to our name. I think they were just.
But we never asked anybody for anything.
Yeah.
We never did. And Raymond would actually send us.
My dad would send me checks.
He would send checks. And every year, when we would go home to visit them, I would bring the checks back. And I would say, Raymond, this is not a gift. This is charity. and me and my girl here are on our own, and we plan to do this on our own. And even when he would say, well, you can borrow one of our cars when we'd come home, I would go, nope, I'm going to rent a car because I am on my own 2 feet and I am going to take care of your daughter, just me. And I always made it very clear, and I always drew that line of, we don't need your help. And there was times where Renae was like, we do need their help. Can we please cash this $1,000 check? And I'm like, no.
They were never that much.
Yes, it was.
No, they were never
yes, it
that
was.
much.
But I think ultimately for us, we have made the right decisions.
Yeah.
Right. And now we're very, very happy. Funny how now that I'm successful, your parents love me. It's interesting.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
I know.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But we have been through a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun. And I guarantee you that you can go through 100 episodes of our podcast and you will always hear me tell my wife how beautiful she is and how much I love her.
Well,
and
I would
like you to go back
on your tank top.
I would
every
like you to
week.
sarcastically. I would like you to go back and find out how many times Renae has said I love you in 100 episodes.
I
really
love you. I love you.
I'd really like to get that count if somebody wants to to take that on. But
100 hours
of Steve Trevino and Captain
listening
Evil.
and viewing.
And we did like freaking 8 interviews this morning, from 8 in the morning till now.
Yeah.
And now we're doing the podcast. So.
And you're not sick of talking yet?
Yes, I am. No, I the radio interviews are hard because it's always the same thing.
They're
That's what's
asking the same question. So when they're stacked like 6 of them back to back to back, it's a lot.
I mean, I love this. I love having a conversation with you, having a conversation about life and things we've overcome. But it's when the radio's tough because my first interview was at 8:20. 15 minutes later, I had another interview.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, I had another interview. Then I had a 30-minute break, which sucks too because it's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do in those 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Right?
You could sweep. You could do the dishes.
I did.
You could vacuum.
I did. I vacuumed and mopped. I'm glad you asked. I vacuumed and mopped, yes. In those 30 minutes, I did vacuum and mop.
I was putting up a balloon arch.
Yes, thank God you did that. That's going to make our house better. But, then 30-minute break, and then 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And it was like, oh, gosh. Yeah. And it's the same thing over and over.
And it's hard, though, because you literally, you have to think if people don't know you and they're hearing you on the radio for the first time and you have 15 minutes to be funny, but you can't just do stand-up, it's such a challenge.
One of the best things that happened out of one of the radio interviews, and I think it happens a lot. So the DJ said, hey, we got this request to have you on, right? He goes, because I have a radio publicist. He goes, we have a really great relationship. And he goes, I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were. He goes, but we decided to take you on because apparently a lot of people do know who you are. He goes, but I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to make sure that I knew your stuff.
Right. That he's not just asking you blind questions.
He goes, so me and my wife sat down to watch Till Death. She goes, and you do the thing about parking the car. He goes, and my wife lost her shit. And she goes, I do know him. Everybody's doing reactions to this. She's like,
no
oh
way.
my God, I'm so glad you found him. I do know him. I watch all his videos. Everybody's doing his videos on TikTok and Instagram. And so
But she hadn't put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
She just knew the bits, but had no idea who the person was.
So I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Where people have seen my stand-up, they've heard my voice, they don't quite put it together until later on.
Or think that there's a whole special you can go and watch in its entirety.
Well, and that's what was funny about a comment that I read today. That bit is done very, very well where I go, hey, ladies, you're not a princess. Your father lied to you, right? And then it ends.
No, he can't have abs.
Yeah, no, he can't have abs, right? And the funny part, Rick, we edit it to where it ends there. So then a woman goes, no, my mom taught me not to lower my expectations. My mom told me that I am a princess and that I should be treated like a princess. And it sucks because they don't get the rest of the bit.
Yeah.
They don't get the rest of the bit where I say, find a real man.
Yes.
A man that works hard, a man that believes in God, a man that loves you more than he loves himself.
Yeah.
A working man, right? So that's what sucks about it is that they just hear me saying,
snippet.
right? They just hear me saying, lower your expectations.
Yeah.
This man doesn't exist. They don't get to hear the part about find a man where
rich in the things that matter.
Rich in I say that, right? Rich in the things that matter.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck money, fuck abs, right? Find the man.
Not that they're bad. They're just not necessary.
Which I would have to say came from you.
Yeah.
And me looking at you going, you did not get the tall, dark, handsome with abs, but you saw the hardworking man in me.
Yeah.
Right? And you saw my willingness to be a better husband and a better father, and
your love for life,
my love for life, and my sense of humor,
yeah.
And you looked in deeper. Which, by the way, that's one of the reasons I love your sister Rebecca so much. She will always have a special place in my heart because she loved me from day one.
Yeah,
she was cool with me. I mean, she was 12 when I met her.
I was gonna say there's an age difference between she and I. Yeah. So
she was very
little.
very young.
She was little when you came into the
and I
picture.
remember she goes, "He must be smart." Because he ain't good looking. She goes, Renae always said that she would end up with somebody smart. But it was also amazing to me that you looked past the fact that at that time I was a cigarette smoker. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I really fell for you, Steve Trevino, to look past the fact that you were cigarette. But you quit smoking. I think you knew it bothered me, so you quit smoking pretty soon after we started dating.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were, because I was smoking and dipping at that time, and you were like, all right, enough's enough. You got to stop. You know, so, but again, you know, a lot of things that change a person is because of love.
Yeah, loving kids.
I mean, you've changed a lot over the years that we've been together. I always say that I'm going to get you into heaven. I already told her, Rick, I don't think I can get you into VIP heaven, but I can get you into regular heaven. Yeah. I'm going to be in VIP heaven.
That's all right. I'll be with the heathens in heaven. Well, those people are more fun anyway. I want to be in the heathen heaven.
And people are going to be like, why the fuck is Steve Trevino in VIP heaven? And I'm like, because there's a lot of shit you don't know about me that I do on the side. But you know, I think that I wanted to quit smoking for you. I wanted to be better for you. I didn't want you to leave. So I knew that I had to do certain things to make sure that you stayed. Yeah. You know, but the 100 episodes. Wow. I mean, it's.
Thank you to everyone who's been watching. I just feel so grateful. And this weekend in Oxnard, I feel like there were so many people, so many ladies who like gave me the biggest hug. And then especially after last week's episode, they were like, I don't care if people say you're not funny. I love the podcast. I could watch it I watch every episode 2 times. Like just so many really, really kind, sweet, enthusiastic people.
I like the fact that for the first time, unanimous decision from the people that love us, fans, family, that I should keep the margarita machine. This is the first time. I mean, people were coming up to us in Oxnard going, oh no.
How's the margarita machine? Did you clean it before you got on the plane? You did. You did clean it before you got on the plane.
I always take care of my business, brah. And I always say that, like, nothing gets me more frustrated. I got to write a joke about it. Nothing gets me more frustrated that you are ragging me or upset with me about things I haven't even done yet.
Can I be honest? I did not think the margarita machine was going to make it after this weekend. Like between the heat and it constantly running. And then I for sure thought we were going to come home to maggots in our margarita machine.
Well, that's what we have learned is that we can't have it outside. We'll have to probably put it in the barn or in a shaded area because, I mean, it freezes overnight. And then once the sun hits it, it just can't keep up. Yeah. So we had cold margaritas. We just didn't have frozen.
We had slushies. They were like
they weren't even slushy. Yeah. They were just cold.
Yeah.
Which was nice, right? And I would have, one or two. And then Roland's wife, she did the pina colada.
Yes.
And that seemed to freeze
But
a
it was
little.
like a pina colada made with white wine. That one was so good. She bought it from this place in Wimberley, and that I liked a lot better because it's not so sour and sweet. It's
Well,
like,
and that one was
good.
able to freeze a little better because it was wine based as opposed to
Alcohol?
liquor.
Oh, I didn't realize that made a difference. I mean, it makes sense. Alcohol
So,
doesn't freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol doesn't freeze as much, right? So, but the margarita machine, everybody was like, fuck her, Steve. You keep that margarita machine, bro. And I'm like, I know.
I'll have one with you to celebrate 100 episodes. How about that?
Now I got to put more margarita in the machine.
You're like, I don't want to clean that
I
shit.
don't want to have to clean it. And then, I feel bad because I do love the challenge coins. And
Yes.
I was going through the merch bag. And what I do is when people give me gifts, usually in the meet and greet line, I tell Timmy, hey, take care of this for me. And then Timmy, usually goes, hey, here's all the gifts you got from people.
Yes.
I don't know how this one did not make it. So I got this one a long time ago. And big shout out to the Haverhill Police Department.
Where's Haverhill? Do you know? You don't remember?
Boston.
Oh, cool.
It was a Boston one. And I love it. Thank you so much. I will cherish it. And it will be in my collection of challenge coins. So
once I take all this stuff down.
once she takes off the bullshit. And if I know my wife, this will be here for the next 3 weeks or next week.
No, I'll be taking it down. Rushing to take it
Yeah,
down.
like right before we film the
No.
next episode, you'll be like, oh my God, I got to get this shit down. But your balloon arch has been quite the success on social media.
Yes. Yeah.
So can you talk about that? Because I
you
got
have
to pee so bad.
Oh, no, listen, it's all about buying. The trick with the balloon arch, y'all, is it's so easy. You just have to have like the right base or know where you're hanging it. So this one has little clamps that will clamp on like the front of a table, or I have them clamped on the bookshelf. And then don't do those like thin strips that they sell at the dollar store. Those are a pain. If you know you are going to be making balloon arches, there's a pole that fits in them. So you can get this one that clamps onto the shelf. If you want a big one, there's one that has like water bags as your base to weight it down so that it goes up and higher. And then they sell these little clear clamps or rings that you can put multiple balloons around, and then you just shoot them through. Like, it's really easy. This one wasn't anything special or fancy. I was trying to get it up real quick without Steve complaining about it. So this one was super easy. And a pump. You must invest in a balloon pump.
Oh, that's all I heard. Dude, I was laughing so hard because all I heard was right?
You thought I was vacuuming.
I did. Dude, Rick, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is Renae vacuuming? That is not her. And then I go in there and you guys are filling up balloons. I'm like, oh, that's my baby. That's my baby girl right there. But wonderful weekend in Oxnard, California. It is
so many people in Oxnard that were like, I have seen you 6 times. Like, there were so many people. One person was like, I've seen him 10 times. It's been 10 times. But so many people who have like followed you from the beginning. I feel like in Oxnard more than a lot of other places.
It's been so cool when I talk to the guys, especially guys that go, man, I saw you when I was single. And you were the single guy.
Yes.
Then I saw you when you got engaged or found a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I found a girlfriend. And then you got engaged and I got engaged. And then you had kids and I had kids. And you want to be a good father. I want,
Yeah, like the guy we met that won the picked cherries contest that came backstage. He was saying some of your like early jokes, some of the first jokes you ever told on stage.
I just think it's cool that we've grown up together. And I think that in life, either you grow in that direction of, I want to be a good husband and a good father and all those things. And then there's the people that just don't ever want to grow up and end up in that direction.
Yeah.
And I could have easily ended up in that direction. Really happy that I ended up in this direction because life is so fulfilling with a happy marriage and kids and doing things together as a couple. But and by the way, my stand-up, started to resonate, in my opinion, when I became okay with it.
Yeah.
Right? When I became, I remember, again, I always learn from situations. I learn from watching. My dad is a big influence on me. My dad was playing with Renae. Renae was probably my niece, Renae, who is a lieutenant in the Marines, and I'm very, very proud of her. Also an Aggie. Very proud of her. So shout out to Renae over there in Japan. She's in Korea right now, by the way.
Are we supposed to say that? Can you say that?
I don't know. But she is a Marine, but she was very, very little. And we were at a family party, and Renae was on my dad's lap, and my dad was playing with Renae. And one of my uncles went to my dad and said, "Man, you used to be the baddest motherfucker, and you used to be the craziest, and you partied harder than everybody, and now look at you." And my dad goes, "Yeah, I want to be the very best at every stage of my life." He goes, "When I was younger, I was the fucking best. And then when I got married, I wanted to be the best, and now I want to be the best grandpa." And I was like, "Oh, that's what I want to do."
Yeah.
You know, so I took that from him and said, "Look, I don't have to be the drink till 6 a.m. guy, because, hey, I want to be the best to my kids too.
Yeah.
I can enjoy having a drink with you at night, but I have kids and a wife.
Yeah.
So I want to wake up and do that. So that means I have to tone down the drink till 6 a.m. most of the time." You know what I mean?
No, I want to be a crazy old lady, like a crazy old
You
lady
can
with
still be
purple hair and a convertible.
You can still be crazy, of course. I know Renee's dream as an old lady is purple hair in a Porsche convertible. And I promise you that I will also make that dream come true for you. I promise you, because I will be dead, and you will be a grandma alone, because Renae made me an old dad. But Oxnard,
yes,
great, fun, sold out shows.
Yeah,
great audience. We did haul ass to Universal Studios on Friday. People thought I was crazy.
We have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my big kid. We took my big kid to Universal Studios. That's what we did.
Well, I love it.
You took him on all the scary rides right from the get-go, just straight to Jurassic Park and the Mummy. I'm like, hey, what about the Minions?
The Transformers ride is so badass. Rick, you got to take the boys to go ride this Transformers ride. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I just remember when we lived in LA that me and you had season passes.
Because people would come to visit all the time. So we were like, let's just pay for this shit once.
And because we were poor, that would be our day date. Like, we'd have nothing going on.
Yeah.
No radio interviews. Nobody wanted to interview us. Nobody wanted to talk to us. There was no podcast, right? I would tour on the weekends and at night. And me and you, because we had bought this pass, it was like, hey, let's eat breakfast. Let's go to Universal.
We can wait in line for an hour to ride a ride.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yeah.
You know, so there was also that kind of feeling too of, man, we were at Universal Studios all the time.
Yeah.
So it was cool to go back with a family, you know, and also show, you know, I know all the moves. If you go to Universal Studios, let me tell you what you do. As soon as you get in there, there is a lower lot area. That's where Transformers is. As soon as the doors open, you skip everything in the front and you go straight to the back.
Yeah.
And then what happens is
you gotta go down like 3 escalators because it's in a hill.
So you get to go do everything over there because everybody is over here, you know, looking at all the attractions in the front. You go straight to the back. Don't waste any time. You'll ride everything there. By the time you're done riding everything there, you're going up the escalator and everybody's just now making their way to the back of the lot. So that's what me and you used to do. Yeah. We used to get in. I'm like,
but it's all the scary rides in the back.
But remember our move? We would go single rider. We would both be single riders. And then they would be like, well, y'all you can go on those too, right? And we'd end up together. And then we'd run back around, single rider. We'd ride everything. Now we have to buy fast passes and it freaking breaks the bank. But I'm excited because I think our final summer hurrah with the kids is going to be in Orlando.
Yeah, you're in Orlando at the end of the summer, like right before Garrett starts school.
And I'm hoping
we got to figure it out.
I'm just hoping that there's some badass executive that works at the Orlando Disney and they're watching the podcast and they say, Steve, don't buy those fast passes. Let me take care of you. So if you're out there, I will take care of you at my show. You take care of me.
Like, how do we not know a VIP tour guide?
Well, we have
one of the people who does the tour guides.
Well, we have one in Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know, we have some great people out there that have been so generous to us in Disneyland.
Yeah.
We just don't have anybody in Disney World. So we're looking for that person at Disney World. So if you know somebody or you are that somebody, please send us a message. Don't send it to Renae. Renae does not respond to messages.
Oh, I try. I just miss them.
I felt so bad for the girl that was like, because of you guys, we went to go check out Naples. Can you recommend places?
I never saw that message.
I did. It was me and you.
I don't know. I missed it. I'm sorry.
But we should also tell people that last week's episode was what, an hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Long one.
I didn't read the comments. What did people say? Were people making comments about it being long or being short or anything like that?
I don't know, Rick, were they?
I didn't see any.
But it was all positive. I think we had a very I thought it was a really, really good episode.
Yeah. Well, we went long because we thought we were going to have to break it up into 2 episodes since we were traveling. We thought we were going to be staying out in California, and then work travel plans changed. And then we were like, it's 100th episode. Like, we can't just clip out an episode into 2 episodes.
And Rick, no bullshit, dude. I almost went to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
But the only reason we didn't go, because, it's summertime and we do whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
The only reason we didn't go is because Garrett had an earache.
Yeah.
And Garrett was not feeling well. And I was afraid. I wanted to come home and cut my yard. But Garrett was not.
And I was like, we got to film a podcast episode. But we were literally on the way to the airport. And Steve and road manager Timmy, they're like,
Vegas?
We don't have to go to the airport. We can drive to Vegas.
And change our flights from Vegas.
We could.
And so we almost did it. But because Garrett was not feeling well. And we're also in the middle of
we're burning the candle at both ends.
No, the potty training is just it's so hard. And by the way, so Renae goes, and she's doing good at peeing in the potty, but then Renae would tell her, grab your little bucket and dump it in the toilet.
Yeah.
So lately, because her little potty looks like a toilet, she'll pee in the little dish. And then she'll pick it up and then dump it in the thing. I'm like, oh my God, Renae, you taught her that.
No, actually this morning I came out, I was like doing stuff and I came out into the kitchen. She'd peed in it and she was carrying it by herself, full of pee, to the restroom to go dump it without telling anyone. That's the problem. She's doing really good, but she's been such a fiercely independent little girl since she was born. She won't say go potty, or she won't say take me potty, or I need to potty, or like, I'm really just saying go potty to keep it short and easy for her, because she can say the word potty, but she would much rather you just have potties all over the house and her do it on her own.
She'll do it on her own. But people say that girls are easier to potty train. I don't think so, man. Garrett, as soon as I showed Garrett that I could pee on the fence,
oh yeah,
he was like, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And he would come up to me and be like, hey, let's go outside and let's pee on a tree. Let's pee on a fence.
Yeah. With Garrett, we didn't have to travel with a potty.
Which by the way, like one of the most embarrassing parent moments is when we were in Houston going to the aquarium. Oh my God, dude. Renae's in line to get tickets. I'm with Garrett.
I'm literally at the ticket window, like paying and getting the bracelet.
There's a huge pot with a tree in it by the ticket booth.
At the front door.
At the front door. And Garrett whips it out and just starts pissing in the fucking flower pot at the entrance. And we're those parents. We're like, sorry, And it was cool because a lot of parents were like, hey, we get it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was actually kind of relieved because I realized I'd forgot to pack a change of clothes. So I was like, I'm glad he didn't pee all over himself.
I mean, and he didn't pee on the floor. He peed in the pot. He had to water the tree. But it was... It was one of those moments where I was just like, oh my God, man. Like, and by the way, if you've been following Jose Trevino, he is an all-star with the Yankees. So for those of you that...
How do we go from being in a pot to Jose Trevino?
Well, no, because I was thinking of
all-stars?
Of the pot, all of the episodes.
Okay.
And I know that we introduced Jose Trevino to everybody on our podcast. And at that time, he was playing baseball for the Texas Rangers. He has now gone on to play for the New York Yankees. And I hope through our podcast that you have continued to follow his success, because I could not be prouder of the guy. I mean,
how exciting.
From one year to the next, playing for the New York Yankees now,
Yeah.
and then ending up as an all-star.
Yeah.
You know, and last year, you know, he was in consideration to be an all-star, but really didn't create enough
What a crazy
buzz.
firm. And Marky's pregnant, and they're getting married at the beginning of the year. Like, just so much happening
great
for
things
them
in his
all
life.
at once.
So I'm really rooting him on. Oh, and then when I'm in Irvine, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be doing training camp in Oxnard. So even though that's far from Irvine, I think I'm going to wake up early and
No
go
way.
go to training camp.
Yeah?
So I could see our friend Nick Rolliston, who is a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Please follow that guy, man. You want to talk about a guy that has heart and passion and work ethic. I mean, that guy, Nick, is just a really special young man, and I'm so honored to be his friend. And of course, we met him through Corey. We got to get Corey on the podcast.
Yes, Corey and Megan were supposed to be here, and then something happened with our schedule. We ended up. We had to go to New York for Pick Cherries when we were supposed to have them on, so we have to reschedule them. They're wonderful.
Yes, and
wonderful.
You know, Corey has become a very good friend of mine, ex-Dallas Cowboy, and he now handles a people's investments and money. He handles our investments and money. So we want you to meet him too, and I think that
we got to get them on. They'd be great guests.
That's what's been so cool about this podcast is that we've met some remarkable couples.
Yeah.
You know, Daniel McCutcheon and his wife and Randy Rogers and Chelsea Rogers. And we've just met, and that's kind of the theme. You know, people always want celebrities. I don't mind having a celebrity because I think it's cool, but I want to meet them and their wife.
Yeah.
You know, I want to meet them as a couple.
You've always talked about that. When you talk about the comedians you admire, you've always said, let's talk about the comedians that are happily married and have great families. And that part of their life is just as full, if not more full than their career.
Yeah, like, you know, like Jeff Foxworthy. I look at Jeff Foxworthy and he's kind of the one that made me realize that, number one, I could have a great career and not have to live in LA.
Yeah.
Number two, I could be happily married with kids and continue to have a great career.
Yeah.
So he's somebody that I really admire and watch. So same with, and I've talked about it on the podcast, same with George Strait. You know, here's somebody that women think is a heartthrob. You know, obviously he's an older man now, but his entire career as a young man, here's this guy happily married, making his career work, becoming the king of country music, and still married. And I look at guys like that and I go, okay, those are guys that I need to and want to be like, right? And then there's comedians that have podcasts, and their entire podcast, you never hear about their wife. You never hear about their kids. And it makes me wonder, like, man, are they important to you at all?
I just think you're such the opposite. You insist that I'm there with you.
Well, and that's what cracks me up when somebody, you know, sends me a message and goes, oh, Steve's going to talk about his wife and kids again. Do something different. And it's like, well, sorry. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I talk about the things that are most important to me. And my whole life and my whole, everything that I am is the girl sitting next to me and these kids. So those are the things I'm going to talk about, you know.
I love you.
I love you too. What a great 100th episode.
Yeah.
You decorated, I don't know why the blue and red.
Because Captain, our little picture, our thumbnails, you've never noticed that? It's a turquoise background when we started, and then I think Captain Evil is in red letters. That's why blue and red, Steve Trevino.
Of course. Yeah, duh.
Turquoise and red. It's not blue and red. It's turquoise and red.
Just look delicious. I mean, look at that. Wow.
You do have good legs,
How
baby.
me and you have had the same summer, and I look golden brown, copper tone, if you will.
I don't know. Is that the lighting?
And
it's
you,
definitely our skin.
You
our
just
skin
look like a
tone.
ghost.
I don't look like a ghost. That's
like a
not
ghost.
nice.
But I do want to make sure that my in-laws know that I love them, and that even though I revealed to the world that they hated me and treated me like shit, but I want people to know that I love them, and we have a wonderful relationship, and I could not ask for a better family, wife, kids.
Yes.
You know, we have really carved out a really perfect life. And it's because of all the people that have continued to support us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
Big shout out to Rick and Gigi for putting up with our bullshit.
Sticking it out.
For sticking it out.
For saying, yeah, let's actually film this and do it like a real thing with cameras and lights.
And Rick, I want to know the truth. Did Renae and I inspire you to work more with your wife?
Absolutely not.
Shit. I was hoping that is the reason you brought Gigi into the act.
He's like, no, actually, you and Renae are a cautionary tale.
Do you find it difficult to work with Gigi, Rick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is a weird dynamic when you're like, no, not only am I the expert, I'm also your boss, and I've been doing this way longer than you. And they look at you straight in the face and go, so?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I tell Renae, I'm like, dude, if you were a real employee, I would have fucking fired your ass.
Oh, what did I say? I said something to you the other day, and you were like, that was so fucking mean. You were like, you would never say that to your boss in another work environment. And I was like,
oh, no, she literally goes,
like, I'm sorry.
By the way, I'm helping her on something really special that we're going to tell everybody about soon. But I'm literally helping her create something great. And then she goes, you just want to talk for the sake of talking.
I said you were pontificating.
And nobody cares. I
don't have time for that.
She goes, nobody cares.
Have time for that.
She goes, all you do is talk because you want to hear yourself talk and nobody cares.
I didn't say nobody cares.
Yes, you did.
I think I said, I just don't have time for that.
And I go, wow, who talks to somebody that's helping them that way?
I apologized. I apologized for that one. It was
anyway, 100th episode, we could not do it without Aztec Chevrolet.
Yes.
Please give my friends a chance. Please, please, please. They are absolutely amazing human beings, and we should be supporting good folks.
Yeah.
So please, Aztec Chevrolet, don't forget to download, pick Cherries, and listen to podcasts like you've never listened before. Best part is 0 ads. Me and my wife, Renae, are a big part of Pick Cherries. We are not only... I feel like the hair club for men. We are
not only a featured podcast.
Yes, we are not only a featured podcast, but we are a big part of Pick Cherries, and it could change our lives. So please download Pick Cherries, and then of course, Old Salt Coffee. You're already drinking coffee. Drink it from a veteran-owned and operated company like Old Salt Coffee, Trevino 10, and they will give me $1 for every bag of coffee that you buy for our veterans. So happy 100th episode.
Oh, from the bottom of our hearts, from the bottom of Captain Evil's very cold, frozen heart. Thank you so much for helping us make it here, for getting us here.
And that's what's cool too is, and I think I trip people out because, anytime somebody sends me a message and goes, hey, you got a new fan here, I always, my response to them is always, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
And they're always like, number one, you responded. Number two, what a great message.
Yeah.
But it's because I mean it. You guys have all become part of our family. We want you to know that we love and care for you guys as much as you care for us.
For me, it's been such a joy meeting people on the road.
It's been awesome. And the next show that Captain Evil is going to go to, I have San Jose this weekend. She will be in Nashville.
I'm going to Nashville for a girls' trip.
With her girls' trip. And then after that, we have the Mall of America.
Yes.
Which, I don't know.
Bloomington, Minnesota.
Man, so many people have been like, your wife needs to come. It's awesome.
Someone told me they make it like a 3-day vacation on a regular basis, that they go do the Mall of America.
And then I think Captain Evil will join me after that in Irvine.
You have Kansas City on the calendar. Yep. Then you're doing Phoenix and Chicago in one weekend. Then we go to Orlando, Wichita.
A lot of big shows
Washington,
coming up.
Miami.
SteveTrevino.com. I am probably coming to your neck of the woods. We actually met with agents and managers while we were in California to start the discussion again as to a world tour. So we are talking about Europe. We're talking about Asia. We're talking about
Australia. I want to go to Australia. Canada. I haven't done Canada.
So we are working on it. COVID did slow things down. So hopefully very soon, my wife and I will get to see the world, and I will get a paid vacation to Croatia, and I don't have to spend money on it. So once again,
someone asked me that weekend too. They said, "Is he taking you to Croatia? Because you look damn good." She was sweet.
and again to the Haverhill Police Department, thank you so much. And a lot of people, when they think of police officers, they only think of the bad things. But what I have learned, especially now having a daughter, is that sex trafficking is a $1 billion industry in the United States of America. That's with a B. And these police officers work very hard to stop that. So to them, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Good night.